Mr. Murray.
All right.
And raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Terry Murray, do solemnly swear or affirm
I, Terry Murray, solemnly swear or confirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will discharge faithfully
and I will discharge faithfully
the duties of the Office of County Commissioner
the duties of County Commissioner
in the County of Koochiching,
in the County of Koochiching,
State of Minnesota,
State of Minnesota,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You can sign. There. Sign on the dotted line. Okay. Wayne?
Yep.
Raise your right hand, please. Repeat after me. I, Wayne Skoy,
I, Wayne Skoy,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of
the
Minnesota,
Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will discharge faithfully
and I will discharge faithfully
the duties of the Office of County Commissioner
the duties of the Office of County Commissioner,
in the County of Koochiching,
County of Koochiching,
State of Minnesota,
State of Minnesota,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
Congratulations.
All right, everybody ready? Okay. Welcome, everyone. First item of business then would be to approve the agenda. Mr. Chair. Okay, we've got a motion. Second. To approve the agenda as presented. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. We've got the minutes, December 5th. I'll move the minutes, Mr. Chair. We have a motion by Chief,
Second.
second by Wayne to approve the minutes as presented. Any questions or discussion on those? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Financial business.
Mr. Chair, we're going to ask you to accept the January through December accounting report, and you have that in front of you. We had a little bit higher revenues from the IRRB grant than anticipated. We budgeted $170,000, and we received almost $190,000. We did get tax forfeited apportionment from the trust fund of $38,000, and there was some interest that was earned on the fund balance of $2,525 for total revenue of $230,526. Our expenditures included some board per diems. Budgeted was $7,000. We actually ended up with $10,255, and the reason why that is a little bit over budget is because now that when there's any KDA meetings or airport, I'm actually coding those to the KDA because that's more towards economic development. And then our the board expenditures in our general revenue fund are going to be a little bit less. We have general insurance, and we have part of the audit fee for auditing the KDA. The appropriations that we made are KCDA. That's the grant fund that there's a committee that's formed that approves small business grants to businesses, cities, and nonprofits for community needs. There's also allocations to be used for economic development. The City of International Falls received $22,500. Rainier and North Home both received $11,333. Little Fork, $13,500. Big Falls received $18,333. And the reason why Big Falls is a little bit higher than the others for economic development is because in the past we used to give them some funds for a tax for the Little Fork Medical Center taxes. that instead is now being turned over just as grant funds to them. We have, there was a project with Voyageurs National Park. There is a joint powers agreement. Plus there was a project that was done last year for $47,063. Last year, the airport, there was some funding provided to the airport of $30,000. And then miscellaneous projects, we had budgeted $25,000. We only spent $20,500. Which leaves us with, we had a use of fund reserves of $6,933. The fund balance as of December 31st was $296,655. And these funds are all restricted to be used for economic development. So that's the recap for the year.
Any questions or comments on that? Okay. We don't need an action on that, right?
Yes, we do need
Oh,
it.
we do, okay.
Yes.
Anyone willing
Motion to approve the,
Okay, thank you, Wayne. We've got a motion by Wayne. Second. We've got a second. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
The next report is the approved 2021 budget that I thought we should take a little bit of time to review. We do have the IRRB funds again. It's estimated at the same amount as last year. That is really dependent on the taconite production. We receive a portion of that. Again, the promotion for the tax forfeited apportionment of $38,000, a small dividend from MCIT, and a little bit of interest. For expenditures, the board per diem, you can see I've increased that a little bit compared to closer to what we're actually allocating for board per diem. General insurance of $1,300 and an audit fee of $3,000. And the remaining funds are basically assigned for economic development purposes. The KCDA, again at $50,000, and then the same city allocations to be used for economic development, and that's the city of International Falls, Rainier, Little Fork, Big Falls, and North Home. Again, the Voyageurs National Park Clean Waters Joint Powers for $28,000. That's our us to participate in that joint powers agreement and for the clean water continuing in Voyageurs National Park. We did approve allocation to the Rainy River Community College Nursing Program for $20,000. There's also a KTI broadband grant for $26,000 that the board approved last year that they did receive, and it's part of their matching. And then we have some really unallocated funds, miscellaneous project funds of $9,381. It leaves us with actually a gain of fund balance of $4,804 anticipated for the KDA fund balance.
Okay, any questions for Jenny on that? Wishes of the board.
motion to approve.
Okay, we've got a motion by Commissioner Spillane.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Adi, as you were known in the past. Remember that?
Yeah.
Commissioner Adi. Any further questions or comments? Not, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Jenny. New business.
We have first half budget allocation.
We want approval on the first half budget allocation.
Yes, and what we do is we We do this in two allocations. We do one in January and another one in July. And so there's, comes to the board twice.
Keeps us on top of it, yeah. Okay, we've got a motion by Commissioner Ady. A second, thank you.
Discussion.
Go ahead, please.
Is that all, Jen, from timber allocations?
No, none of that is from timber allocations.
None of that's.
Well, I mean, you know, we do have revenues that are from the timber allocation of $38,000. But the cities get a small portion of that, I believe, too, with the timber allocation, if there's been some sold in their district.
Any other questions? Motion and a second by Kevin and Jason. Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right, is anyone here for public comment today? You're more than welcome.
I just stopped to see all that money that Rob Eklund was talking about for small businesses. I was just wondering if the kennel would be affected in that, for the dog kennel for a small business. Because the dog kennel, I can show you here what the dog kennel was doing before and what it's doing after that virus. You want to take a look at that?
Zero up.
Huh?
Went down, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it went down to nothing. Yeah, I can show you if you want to look. And
I
then-
mean, unless you
If you want to look and see what this calendar looks like after that virus threw over, there's nothing in there. After April, that's what it looks like. Nobody was traveling, doing nothing.
Sir,
I was just wondering if,
What is your name?
what's that?
What is your name?
Frank Bar.
Frank Barr. I should have known that. Thank
I
you.
was just wondering when Rob put that in the paper, if the kennel would be eligible for any of that.
It's a small business, we could. See,
What- Yes, and I might be able to add something to this. So later on in the regular board meeting agenda, we're going to have a form a committee because the county did receive $256,250 for business grants. And today at the regular county board meeting, we're going to be forming a committee. And I'll be going over some of the different pots of money that the state has set aside. And the purpose of the money that the counties received is really to be that catch-all for businesses that did not maybe receive some funding in those other two buckets of funds. So the committee will be formed at the meeting today, and then we will be developing a program or guidelines for this. And at that point, we advertise and let the public know that these funds are available, whatever route the committee decides to take or the process. And so most certainly there are going to be some funds available to small businesses. The funds need to be spent by March 15th. So I'm thinking that the committee will be acting fairly quickly like we did with the CARES Act funds. And most definitely, we're trying to reach those businesses that are going to fall through the cracks.
Electric bill and all the upkeep and everything in the building, all the bills are still there.
Certainly.
Yeah, Frank,
That off.
Frank, actually, on the stuff that was out before, what happened is,
I can't hear you. Let me shut this off. I thought it was off.
and what it was before is that we could not reimburse you for lost revenue. You know, say if you had people that canceled, but what we could pay for was your upkeep, your electricity, all your other expenses. But you couldn't include revenue in there. But there was a bunch of money available, and like Jenny says, there is another program coming out. And hopefully we should be able to get you in I guess, call it enrolled in it, and then we'll see what happens.
So that'll be in the paper then, or?
Yes, we will get something in the paper. And Frank, what is your phone number? I will call you when. And this this new, these new funds that I received are giving the counties a lot broader leeway to allocate those funds as we feel appropriate. And so there's a lot of restrictions that were included in the CARES Act that may not be included in these county relief funds.
Great. Anyone else? Anything else, Frank?
Thank you all for your time.
Anytime.
Frankie.
Thank you.
All right, if there's
I'll
no
call you, Frank.
Okay, thank you.
other public comment, do we have any new business or old business from anyone? Anything from you, Jenny, or?
I don't have anything except I was wondering if we, when we do these allocations, do we want to send a letter with those allocations to those cities, just reminding them that these funds need to be used for economic development purposes? In the past, we usually haven't done that, nor have we asked for them to report back to us how those funds were used. But it's something that could be discussed.
Might not hurt to send a letter.
Is there a statute that could be attached to that? Or?
Nope, not by statute. Well, you know, the revenues that we receive are for economic development from the IRRB, and so maybe there is something that I could find in that agreement that we signed with them that these funds need to be used for economic development. Just reminding them that, you know, this is the purpose of these funds, and I mean, it's not to pay salaries or utilities or things like that.
Actually, when, you know, we use a portion of our timber revenue to finance the cities, to give them money for things that they weren't able to do at the time. And part of that agreement, getting to Jenny's point, was that they were to report back to us and tell us how the funds were spent. We kind of knew how they were spent. I mean, the city over there, I think that's how they funded the chamber, and the small cities, I mean, they were doing their little projects. So we never required it, we just let it go, but technically, we're supposed to get those reports. And we've never been questioned on it, so it's just a point here, and it's been, gosh, 20 years or so since we did that. And anyway, what a great help to the communities that's been. I mean, they're able to utilize it and do things they would never have been able to do, and we're still held whole because, you know, we've had a good income on the timber receipts. Of course, that could change someday too, but I'm just letting you know why it's out there, and that even though it was required, I don't remember ever seeing it. We never questioned. The commissioners in the district knew what they were doing. All right. Anything else to come before this group? If not, motion to adjourn be in order. Move. Okay, we've got a motion and a second to adjourn.
Second.
I think Kevin did, I think.
Yeah, Wayne and Kevin. All right. The two compadres here. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Well, let's get going. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Tuesday, January 5th, 2021 meeting of the Koochiching County Board of Commissioners. Would you help me open with the pledge, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone, and welcome. We're into a new year. Hopefully 2021 will move us forward and away from all what we've been going through the last year. And I'd like to say thank you to everyone that's been working on all of this through the last year. And it's been difficult for many, many people. And I think we're almost there. So I really appreciate all the work that everyone has done, and the public and the staff and from top to bottom. I think everyone has done an excellent job. So I'd just like to say that. Thank you. Okay, so first order of business is to approve the agenda with additions today.
Yes, we have two additions, Mr. Chair. Just noted, two notices of hire, that they both started yesterday, or no, they're starting today. And, the same position, so when, just they're notices, but I wanted to get them on the agenda being that they're starting today.
I will accept the motion to approve.
I'll move so.
Thank you, Commissioner Soy.
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Murray. Any questions on the agenda? If not, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2 is to approve the minutes from the December 22nd, 2020 regular meeting.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Pavlik. Any question on the minutes? If not, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Jenny, I appreciate it. In the minutes, you make us look good in spite of ourselves.
They don't look nothing like it really is. That's all I have.
Well, they're supposed to tell the story. Teresa always says the purpose of the minutes is just to tell the story. So I try to keep them as brief as possible and tell the story, yeah. You guys look good on your own, I think.
Third item is the financial business to ratify the 2020 year-end payments, to approve December payroll, approve December warrant voids, and to approve the payment of first half 2020 budget allocations. We can itemize them however one would like. I guess I would like to see a separate motion for item D at least.
Mr. Chair, I will move on A and B
Thank you, Commissioner Hady.
for discussion.
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Murray.
Let's see. Okay, I got a question on the ambulance service. I see there's 3 ambulance runs to the jail. Do you know anything about that, Jen?
No, I do not, although I did look at those as well. And we are we're not paying the full invoiced amount because the county I'm sure they're for our inmates, when we have somebody incarcerated, we only have to pay the Medicare rate. And so those rates the amounts have been reduced to meet the Medicare rate, but I don't know. I'm sure that there was. I think actually Perrin's on the call right now. Perrin?
I see Perrin's on there. Perrin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Was there, the reason I'm questioning it, just wondering if there was something going on that caused all of a sudden, 3 ambulance runs over there?
Nope, just a medical emergency for inmates. Something we experience on a routine basis.
Okay, yeah, I just kind of questioned it because usually you don't have 3 at a time.
Yeah, we try to avoid that, but
Yeah, I'm sure you do. So
Yeah.
we don't. Unfortunately, we don't get to pick and choose who comes into our jail, and quite often we'll get a rash of people that need medical attention for a variety of reasons.
okay, thank you, Perrin.
Mr. Chair, it looks like one was August 22nd. Sometimes it takes them a while to bill, but the other 2 were November 5th and
Okay.
November 4th.
Yep. Okay. Yep. All right. Thank you. And I think that was all I had. So
Anyone else have any questions on the financials? If not, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
I
Opposed? Motion carries. We're looking for a motion for to approve December warrant, please. Thank you, Commissioner Pavlik.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Edie. Any question on the warrant voids? If not, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item D, approve payment of first half of 2021 budget allocations. Thank you, Commissioner Edie.
Second.
Commissioner Skoye. Any question on the allocations? If not, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 4, set the 2021 mileage reimbursement rate. And there is some changes to that, Jen?
There is. It's down 1.5 cents per mile from the 2020 rate. It's set at 56 cents per mile for 2021. And then the rate that the county uses to reimburse employees who opt to take their personal vehicle when there's a county vehicle available, that amount is reduced. We want people to use county vehicles. That's the purpose of having county vehicles. That's set at 85% of the rate, so that's going to be at 47.6 cents per mile.
647.
47.6.
Any questions on the mileage reimbursement? If not, I'll call the question. All those in
I
favor?
have a first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Commissioner Edie.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Commissioner Wright. I'll ask, are there any other questions?
Welcome to the chairmanship.
There you go. Let's get the motion first, right? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 5 is to award the 2021 county publication bid.
Yeah, so we, administration was authorized to publicize for bids, and we received one bid, and that was from the Journal. They do qualify as a legal legal publication qualifications. And the other thing that we've done in the past is we've awarded the bid to the Journal, but also approved publishing the summary minutes in a newspaper in North Home, because the Journal doesn't always reach the North Home area. So I'm looking for a motion to bid. There was a 5% increase across the board, with photo ready increasing by 5.12%. So that's pretty typical of what we see. The maximum amount that can be increased is 10%. So they're well underneath that amount.
Mr. Chair. Thank you. Have a second?
I'll make that second.
Thank you, Commissioner Wright. Any questions on the publication? If not, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 6 is to review the 2021 county committee appointments.
Mr. Chair, what I've done is provided you with the most current list of county committees that I highlighted, Brian McBride. And typically what we've done, and it's certainly up to the board, but in the past you've wanted to spend some time reviewing this committee list, and then the board chair makes appointments at the next meeting. If you want to take the time today to review the list and make the appointments now, that's certainly fine. Or we could actually schedule a committee of the whole to discuss this before the meeting of the 12th, and then have it on the agenda to make those appointments that we're discussed at the committee of the whole meeting. Either way would work.
Wishes of the board?
Well, unless anyone's looking at some major changes, I'm just, my own personal view, I'm fine waiting until the next meeting.
And then we'll have a committee of the whole at the next meeting, before the next meeting.
It'd have to be before. We'll start a committee of the whole at 9:30 and then do the board meeting for discussion of these.
Is that okay with everyone?
Just want to let you know that I looked at the different committees that Brian was on, and I feel comfortable on any of them. Put me on.
Thank you, Commissioner Ray. You'll fit in every one of them.
Okay.
Just fine. Okay, we'll just review the committees, and we'll have a committee of the whole and an item of appointments at the next board meeting.
I saw a lot of ice when I read this.
Okay, moving on to item 7 is to adopt resolution to renew annual agreement of enrolling part-time deputies in Pera and PNF plans. This is something that's kind
This
of,
is something that we do every year. We do enroll part-time deputies in Pera.
I'll look for a motion to, thank you, Commissioner Ady. Thank you, Commissioner Pavlik. Any questions on this? If not, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 8, authorize formation of County Relief Fund Committee. That is for the state funding that has been allocated to Koochiching County.
Correct. So Koochiching County receives state funding in the amount of $256,250 for the county administered relief fund as one of 3 of the state economic relief packages. So that's one part or one bucket. In this program, there are 3 buckets. The first bucket is a Department of Revenue administered payments based on the business type, the number of full-time equivalent employees, and sales tax loss data. The DNR, or the Department of Revenue, will identify restaurants, and this is by NAICS code, restaurants, breweries, wineries, distilleries, bowling alleys, bars, fitness centers, and those are all, like I said, based on their NAICS code. Businesses must have an overall 30% reduction in their sales from quarter 2 to quarter 3, 2019 to quarter 2, quarter 3, 2020. Businesses must have a physical presence in the state and have filed, not necessarily paid, all of their sales tax returns. The grant amounts under this Department of Revenue bucket, small businesses that are not enrolled in unemployment, which are basically sole proprietors, businesses that have no employees, they'll receive $10,000. 0 to 20 employees will receive $15,000. 21 to 100 employees, $25,000. 101 to 300 employees, $35,000, and over 300 employees, $45,000. These funds will be paid directly to these businesses from the Department of Revenue. There has been discussion with the Association of Minnesota Counties and the Department of Revenue as to whether the county will be provided a list of businesses that are receiving these funds. The Department of Revenue indicated that this is private data and it cannot be released without authorization. So they're working with AMC and the Department of Revenue are working together to find a solution so that, you know, we reach the people that are missed in maybe that bucket of Department of Revenue funds. The second bucket is administered by DEED, and they're administered targeted grants. DEED will identify and provide grants to large convention centers and movie theaters, and those will come directly from DEED as well. The third bucket is intended to be the fastest bucket, and they're calling those the county administered relief funds, and it's intended to be a catch-all. And that's the funds that the county received of $256,250, of which 2.5% or $6,406 can be kept by the county for administrative expenses. Counties have been given significant flexibility to decide eligibility and program guidelines. I am in the process of gathering program samples from other counties and from the Association of Minnesota Counties. There's lots of information that's coming through from them. The direct Department of Revenue grant award information is needed by the county to assist in grant-making decisions to catch all of the businesses that may not have been funded directly by the Department of Revenue or DEED. So I think that's a very important piece. And we're trying to work with AMC and the Department of Revenue to come up with a reasonable solution so that counties can be provided with that information. The request that I am asking the board is to create a new county administered relief fund committee to administer these grants, and these grants must be awarded by March 15th, 2021. I have a lot of information on the grants, and I did provide you a lot of information with the proposed guidelines that are set up by the Department of Revenue. But like I said, we have a lot of flexibility in that. These grants are not intended for the purpose of relieving the county of any expenses due to the pandemic. They're primarily for the small businesses, and the other caveat was nonprofits that act like a small business. So this committee is going to, I think, be a little bit different than the committee that we had for the CARES Act funds, being that we're not going to provide individuals any relief from this. There's going to be, it's more business related. So I'd like you to at least appoint a committee so we can get started. It does have to be, funds have to be distributed by March 15th. As you can see, we had Mr. Barr in here, and he's already, looking, there's some need out there that hasn't been met, and some people that have fallen through the cracks. So I'm asking you to form a committee.
I have a question, Mr. Chair. So technically, would we have to have the boards? I guess what I'm thinking, we could authorize Jason as chair to sign off on a committee we put together, whatever, Jenny? Or?
We could certainly do something like that. I would think that, in this case, we heard from the chamber at the last couple meetings about their needs for their business community. I think we would want to get some input from them as to what they feel the business needs are, and also from the KDA office as well.
So I moved then to authorize the chair to work with administration and put the committee together.
Chair will work with administration to strategy a committee.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you. Item number 9 is to adopt a resolution agreeing to act as sponsoring agency.
We still have to move, I think.
Again, I apologize. Back to item 8 to authorize the formation. Motion by Commissioner Pavlik, seconded by Commissioner Murray. Any other comments or questions?
Thank you too, Jenny, for help. There's a lot of work putting this stuff together. It's much needed, so great.
If there isn't anything else, I will call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Now to item 9. Adopt a resolution agreeing to act as sponsor for the Low Fork Main Street improvements 2025.
Sonia on. Sonia, she usually calls in. Maybe she
So,
We do have one call-in user.
Anyways, Sonia contacted me last Thursday. Transportation Alternative Program, and their city is too small to act as the sponsor, and so the county needed to be the sponsor. Basically, we're going to be a pass-through similar to like the snowmobile trail grants that we receive. We do not have any liability in this, and it looks like the projects aren't until 2025, but it does need to be done today. They need to get this in. Their deadline is the 9th. So we're just going to be the sponsoring agency for this, these funds.
thank you, Commissioner Pamlick.
We've done these before for the small cities.
Definitely.
And so
support.
we're adopting the resolution. And Sonia prepared that, give that to us.
Any other questions on the resolution? If not, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And we will move on to auditor treasurer business.
And Tom is not in today. He's out of the office. But this is something that we do on the first of every year as well.
Move on that, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Eby.
I'll second that. A question, which banks are they using now?
So
Bremer and, well, my American, right?
we bank at Bremer. We have a Bremer Investment Management and Trust that manages our investments. TrueStar Federal Credit Union, Deerwood Bank of North Home, Border State Bank of International Falls, Multi-Bank Security of Southfield, Michigan. Those are where any county funds are held.
That question, Mr. Chair. And I'm sure there's a good reason. I'm just curious why way down in Michigan.
That's those multi-bank securities. And, I think when we finish our year-end trial balance, which will give us the values of all of our investments, I'm going to ask Tom to come in and inform the board of where all of our investments are, what kinds of investments that we have, the interests that we're earning on them, things like that. And so that may help answer your question. Multi-bank has been here since I've started, and I think well before.
Oh, yeah. It's just that one is so far out compared to the trying to keep things.
Yeah, and I don't know the history of how that got set up with them.
You can ask them. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? If not, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. On to environmental service business.
Where is that bad guy?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Matt.
Okay, great. Thank you.
It was
I'm
all
going
good.
to, what's that?
We were talking about you, but it was all good.
Well, I guess I've got everything that's coming to me, I guess. I'm going to try to share my screen because I'm going to do a presentation on solid waste management planning for the Northeast region. The agenda item is to approve a joint powers agreement with the Northeast regional counties. and WLSSD for completion of a regional solid waste management plan. And so let me see if I can share this screen with you. Just bear with me a minute. Can you see the presentation?
Yes,
Was that a yes?
yes, we can.
Okay, great. So this is, we're going into the MPCA is asking us to do regional planning. We currently, and I'm trying to get my screen to work here. Let's see. Bear with me. So state statute and rules require the county to prepare and submit solid waste management plans every 10 years. Our current plan is 2012 to 2022, expires in 2022. The MPCA adjusted it to 2023 to account for possible regional planning. They're encouraging that. The state goal for waste management practices in order of preference is waste reduction and reuse, waste recycling, composting, resource recovery through composting or incineration, and then land disposal. And there's two different types: land disposal, where they collect the gases and reuse those gases, and then just the last one would be land disposal without doing that. So the solid waste management in Koochiching County, we currently process Koochiching County residents' garbage and recycling at our recycling center at the transfer station. We take yard waste and that's put in compost, and we reuse that on site for cover on our demo site when it turns into black dirt. We also take the brush from people. They drop it off, and we manage that. We manage special waste such as tires, appliances, TVs, electronics, etc. We host household hazardous waste days twice per year. We haul those to WLSSD. Actually, they come up and help us with those. We have a contract with them to do that. We operate seven canister sites throughout the county: Birchdale, Big Falls, Little Fork, Lowman, Mizpah, Ray, and Silverdale. We manage 2 demolition sites, Big Falls, and then the one at the transfer station. And then we currently, Koochiching County currently hauls our municipal solid waste to the Marquette landfill. And in the Northeast region, we haul our waste. This is just kind of a layout of where everybody hauls their waste. So Koochiching County probably has the longest run to Koochiching County to our Marquette landfill. WLSSD in Carleton County, they haul to Superior, which is closing soon at Superior landfill. Lake in Cook County haul to WLSSD, who then hauls it to Superior. Itasca and Aiken haul south to various locations. St. Louis has the Virginia landfill, which has a 10 to 20 year life expectancy. And then St. Louis, Carleton, and WLSSD are looking at options due to pending closure of the Superior landfill. So they're looking at different options, and they just want to make sure that there's a good option for them for managing that solid waste. A couple acronyms: NUWAC and swooners. NUWAC is the Northeast Minnesota Waste Advisory Council, and solid waste officers of the Northeast region are swooners. So if you hear those acronyms, NUWAC or swooners, that's the actual name for them. So we've had recent land disposal discussions with the MPCA. Part of that discussion is the contract with Superior ends June 30th, 2024. Like I said before, that those counties are looking at options to meet forecasted need for disposal capacity with anticipated closure of the Superior landfill. They're looking at the Canyon facility that's in St. Louis County and others. NUWAC submitted a letter January 31st, 2017 to the MPCA supporting the need for landfill capacity in Minnesota and specifically in our Northeast region. And the MPCA reminded us that landfilling is at the bottom of their waste hierarchy that, I kind of shared with you at the beginning, but also stated there's still a place for landfills, primarily the waste that cannot be recovered or processed. They want us to recycle and do everything we can not to put waste in landfills, but if we have to, then they're not opposed to that. They want assurances of two things, to happen if we're going to look at those types of options. They want us to look at a comprehensive exploration of alternatives, and then that they want us to do a regional plan. So they want the regional entities are recognized and will participate in the process of looking at different options. So Schwoner also has been working on a few things. So MPCA reconfigures when individual solid waste management plans will be due to consolidate the due dates by region and encourage regional planning. So they took our plan and it was due in 2022 and they pushed it out to 2023, anticipating that the region would have a need. On March 11th, Schwoner meeting, the group consensus was, yes, we want to work together and create a regional solid waste management plan subject to each county's approval. And this is part of the reason why I'm in front of you on this. WLSSD agreed to facilitate and act as the fiscal agent. March and early April, there was a RFP drafted by WLSSD and collected a list of interested firms for regional solid waste planning. April through August 2020, RFPs were sent out to interested firms. We received 5 proposals. Wank was one of them, Burns and McDonald, SEH, Barr, and Foth. After scoring the proposals, Burns and McDonald was selected subject to the joint powers agreement and county approvals. October, the MPCA indicated that a grant opportunity will be rolled out in the near future to help counties conduct regional planning. So there's a cost for a regional plan, and the MPCA is potentially going to have grant dollars available for us to help pay for that cost. So this is the big thing. What does it cost? So regional solid waste plan, Burns and McDonald's estimate was $184,788 for the region, and divided amongst the counties by county population. So Koochiching County's contribution it would be 4%, which is $7,391.52. And there was a lot of discussion about how that should be split, but this was what we came up with that we thought would be fair, and trying to recognize there's a lot more population in some of those larger counties and a lot more resources. So we pushed hard to try to keep the cost down as best we could. So regional planning, participating in regional planning for us in this Northeast region would result in a plan that would meet MPCA requirements. So we would, if we did our own plan, just Koochiching County plan, we'd have to meet those same requirements. And I think our effort and resources that would be necessary to develop that plan would be greater than what's proposed here in this regional planning process. So I think, this option provides the best planning value to the county. So I just think it's not a bad price considering what would be needed to develop that plan. So the next steps are to ask all the counties and WLSSD to approve the joint powers agreement, which is before you today, before we start a planning effort, and finalize a contract for services with Burns and McDonald's. I mean, obviously we haven't engaged them yet, but would once all of the counties approve the joint powers agreement and want, indicate that they want to move forward. And then after that contract is finalized, there would be the kickoff of the project would be February, March, and it would probably take about a year to develop that plan. But one thing I want to be sure that you understand is before any regional plan is submitted to the NPCA, I would review it with the county board and request a county board resolution asking the NPCA to review the plan for final approval. And all joint powers board members would do the same, but you will have a chance to look at this plan, and if there's things that we need to tweak or things that you think need to, maybe there's something that wasn't addressed that you think needs to be addressed, you would have that opportunity to review it before it gets submitted. So which is really important. When you do a regional plan, each county has their own issues, right? And so we want to make sure that we address all issues that we think are important. And I guess with that, if you have any questions, I'd be open.
Well, Matt, I had, let's explain. I know we've discussed it before, and because the bulk of our stuff's going up to market, what is the life expectancy for the market facility?
I don't have that exact number. When I was looking at, we have a contract with Marquette that goes through December 31st, 2025. If you look at this image that I have up on the screen there, this is a key, Marquette is a key regional landfill. So I believe they will be, if they need additional capacity, they will be looked upon as being a regional provider for landfilling of MSW, and so I would think that the MPCA would be looking at giving them permits to have additional capacity. And just to give you a little insight into our Marquette contract, currently, it's a 10-year contract. It ends at the end of 2025. The disposal fee for us is $50 per ton, that's hauled to their site. So it's when we dump it at their site, we are charged $50 per ton. When we started this in the mid 90s, I think our price was $45. So our price, Koochiching County has been very competitive in providing us the solution to dispose of our MSW, and so over that, what is that, 25-year period or so, it's gone up just $5 over that period. So I think that's been a good value, and they've treated us right in that regard. Just to give you a sense of the amount of material that we send there. So in our contract, the agreed upon minimum tonnage is 6,800 tons. In 2017, we hauled 7,025. In 2018, 7,225. 2019, 7,420 tons. And in 2020, through November, we were up to 6,928. So we'll be over the 7,000 tons. So we've been consistently hauling 7,000 to 7,500 tons to Marquette landfill each year. But there is a drawback on that. It's 187 miles one way to the Marquette landfill, and our hauling costs in 2020 are about $30.13 per ton. So costs for hauling and disposal, at that site have ranged between $560,000 to $600,000 for the last several years. So when we look at a regional plan, I'm sure that these other counties will be looking at other options for their disposal of waste. And so we'll get information about what they're doing, what their costs are. And so that'll be good for us too, as a comparison to our current location. But I've made it clear to our partners in the Northeast region that, we have to have our flexibility to decide, what is best for our county and what makes most sense for us.
That's good, Mr. Chair. I can give you a little history on this because I'm the one that did the agreement with Marquette back in the 90s. And when I started as a commissioner, and Chuck Lepper and the group we had then, we were being fined monthly for our solid waste because we didn't have a proper way to dispose of it. Marquette, we just fit, our stream of waste fit their, what they needed just right. And we made a deal with them. And as Matt said, they were true to their word. All these years, they've kept that price. I actually, we were down to I can't remember what the price was, whatever it was. I thought, gee, maybe I can get another $1 or so when we're at the meeting. I said, yeah, I said, we're on board. My county board's on board, but they really would like to see it down at the, $1 less. And this, one of the commissioners there, just a great guy. We got to be great friends. But he sat back and he put up his cowboy boots on the table, and he had cow poop on him and stuff. And he was got the cowboy hat. He was a farmer, and he said, Wade, he said, I know I look pretty silly with these cowboy boots with crap on them. He said, and I look pretty silly in this hat. But he said, I didn't start yesterday. we all cracked up. We did the deal, and to their word, they kept that price at the same amount all those years. Until when they raised it to $5 recently. We're talking over 20 years. So they have been, I just want to tell this board how good they are to work with. So when and Matt's doing the right thing here, but when we look at I think we do need to look at other possibilities, but I want to keep Marquette informed of what we're doing and in no way threaten them unnecessarily because, I feel we owe it to them because they've been good to us. I just wanted to let you know the history. Anyway, thank you, Matt.
Hey, Matt, this is Dave Reimer.
Hi, Dave.
Is there a similar group for the northwestern part of the state?
There is a Northwest region, and there was this consideration about, we did look into, should we go northeast? Should we go northwest? We've always been a part of the Northeast region, and I think I brought it to the committee of the whole to discuss a little bit about, do we go down this road with the Northeast region or do we go down, look into the Northwest? And I think at the end of the day, as long as we have options and we can choose whatever option, makes the most sense for us, I don't think it really makes any difference as far as which region we're in. Although I would say that the Northeast region's split based on population for the cost of developing this plan certainly is advantageous to us. So I think that's been good, and based on our previous discussions, I think it was the board's wishes to continue down this path with the Northeast region to see where it takes us.
Okay, it's just a general question. I mean, and like you said, you're keeping your options open. I was just curious.
Yep. No, we certainly thought about that for sure. We are similar in a lot of ways to some of those counties in the Northwest region, but I did have that discussion with the MPCA because of those differences that we have with some of the more populated counties. But at the end of the day, I think this makes sense moving forward for a regional plan. We have to have these every 10 years, and I think this would accomplish it at a reasonable price here. So.
Matt, I have one more question. Because we are in the Northeast and not the Northwest, and I may have asked you this once, are we looked at as outsiders? So if they start to fill up there, we're going to be the first ones that would be looking someplace else?
Well, I think, and then maybe Wade can add a little insight into this, but my understanding is the Northwest region is pleased that Marquette Landfill is pleased that we're hauling our waste to their site. We're an important part of the projection of volumes that they need to maintain to keep their site, running and viable. And as part of their planning process, when they submit renewal of their permits and applications and their reporting to the MPCA every year, they are including us in all of that information. So I believe that, they think that we're a long-term customer. We've been with them a long time, and so I think they would treat us that way moving forward. Although I have nothing in writing that would tell us that, other than we have a contract through the end of 2025. So, I mean, at the end of the day, a contract is what, tells us what we can or can't do. But I believe they would be honorable in dealing with us.
Yes.
Matt, I have one question, and that is, what's, as far as the volume that goes into the Koochiching County, what percentage of that is Koochichings? Are we a large percentage?
I don't have that information. I don't think, I think they receive material from, quite a few counties. And I don't have that information, but I could get it and get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I could, I can address that for you, Terry, because when we made the deal, our waste volume was exactly what they needed. They couldn't take a bigger, the way they had laid it out, they couldn't take a bigger amount of volume, and they couldn't take less to make, they had to make the economics work. So our volume in Koochiching County was just perfect, and that's why it worked out so well. And again, all these years, they have been true to their word. They've been fabulous. So I have no problem looking at other things and keeping them informed, but in no way do we want to do anything to damage our partnership there, because it's just hard to find people like that in more counties. I can tell you this, I've always found it, and I know a lot of other commissioners would say the same thing, found it much easier to deal out west than down south, because politics change so much there, where everything's pretty stable in the western counties politically. Yeah, and the only other thing, Matt, that it's always bothered me is Newack. They don't have the commissioners there anymore. There's no political arms. It's just the workers making these decisions or looking at things, and I'd certainly like to see the counties more involved again, like they were. We actually used to meet quarterly at least and get updated and have the input as processes were moving forward. We don't have that anymore.
So there was some discussion about that as we were going through this conversation about regional planning. And I think there is interest in making sure that we get all of our county commissioners that are on those committees to start meeting again. Obviously the pandemic has impacted all of that, but we can certainly, I'll share that with the group, that our county commissioners would like to see us meeting on a quarterly basis with those county commissioner members.
Or at least through this process, because
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, we want to make sure that all of our county commissioners are engaged in the process here. I mean, you're the ones that make the decisions and have to face the public on a daily basis. So absolutely.
By the way, MPCA, to their credit, we had Wayne Gawley. I don't think you ever knew him, Matt, but Wayne Gawley was the regional director up here. Once we did the deal with Marquette, I mean, we had huge fines because we were out of compliance, and the board at the time, two of the commissioners were sick. I mean, they just couldn't hard to make decisions with three people, and it was just a mess. But to make a long story short, after going through all that, Wayne Gawley appealed down there in St. Paul, and we got our fines taken away, because we finally came up with a solution there. Again, with Marquette, without them, I don't know what we would have done. There was no way we could build a landfill here. They would allow us to build one. We were looking at Ray. but it had to be licensed every 3 years because of our high water table. Well, I mean, so we looked at it, how could we would have had to spend probably $4 or $5 million to site this thing. And 3 years later, they might shut it down. So it just, that wasn't an option. And that's when Marquette just hit the bill. So I'll never forget that. And it saved us from that, all the problems we had.
I appreciate that history. You can't replace those, the actual experience of when things were happening. So I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Matt. Thank you, Commissioner Pavlik. Anybody else have anything to add? Thanks for all your work on this here too, Matt.
Good job, man.
Yeah, thank you. All I need is a board action on the, to approve moving forward with the joint powers agreement. So.
I'll accept a motion to approve joint powers agreement. Thank you, Commissioner Edie.
Second, that motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Sway. Any other questions for Matt?
Well, Matt, if I could, Mr. Chair, then you're keeping our partners informed of what we're doing here with.
Yes, I will. Until it's, we had to enter into the joint powers agreement. And so now, I'll contact Marquette and let them know that we're going through the planning process. It doesn't change. I mean, just because we go through this plan, it doesn't change what we're going to do with Marquette. We have a contract with them through 2025. The only out that we have on that contract is if we developed the recap project, which has been put on the side burner here. So, but that was the only out. So we're committed to Marquette through 2025, and I assume, I don't know if we'll find any other choices that are, more affordable than what we're currently doing, but I'll keep them informed.
I appreciate that. Even looking at the 2025 deadline, though, they're going to have to be making plans before that themselves. So, as long as we keep them informed and try to get to a conclusion here in time for them to, keep us if that's what we need. Appreciate it.
I certainly will do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Matt? If not, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Hey.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Now time for a public comment period. Do we have any public comment? No public comment? Welcome to 2021. Thank you all for attending, and I will ask for the motion to adjourn.
I kind of like it here, but
Thank you, Commissioner Pavlik.
I'll second that
Thank you,
motion.
Commissioner Edie. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.